Alright guys, so in last video like we have learned about few short prompting where we used to give multiple examples to our AI models in order to get the better results, right? So in today's session we are going to understand about chain of thought prompting. Okay, so chain of thought prompting, we can say it's an advanced version of few short prompting where basically we are going to guide our AI to whatever user has prompted. Just do the reasoning in a step by step ways, just making the task in a smaller like we can say split the task into a smaller steps and get the clear thought on that, and then give the output, right? So basically chain of thought prompting tells like how to guide our AI through reasoning by step and step and solve complex problem and debug your prompt efficiently, right? So basically in the chain of thought prompting, we can say there we can tell our AI, so whenever users prompt something, so break into multiple steps, like not directly like however we have seen in the previous prompt styles, like whenever we are going to ask something to our AI models, they are directly giving the answer, right? But we want to know what is happening behind the scene, how basically AI is responding, right? So we want to know, break each and every steps one by one and give the answer in efficient way, right? So let's say some user has asked like write a program for the Fibonacci series, right? So instead of giving direct answer, let show the user like how they are basically thinking, like Fibonacci series can be range from this one by this by adding the previous two numbers. These are the plans basically going behind the scene, and then after show the output. So there can be a multiple step that is happening in the chain of thought prompting. Okay, so that's what it is written, like chain of thought prompting encourage the model to explain its reasoning explicitly one step at a time. So this helps the AI break down a task into smaller cleaner decision before arriving to the answer, right? So it's basically going to like user is going to understand what is AI is doing step by step. They are showing like we I'm thinking in this way, this can be done for this problem, and that will be the optimal solution. So we are returning the output this, right? So basically each and every step basically AI is going to show us, right? That's how we are going to build using chain of thought prompting. So let's come to our screen part. So what we'll do is we'll create one file for our chain of thought prompting. Okay, let me just rename it. Let's say COT prompt. Okay, fine. So this will remain as it is here. Okay, because we have to anyways need this OpenAI model environment. We have to load API key similar as the previous one. Okay, now what we have to do here is we are going to just remove this prompt, this system prompt. Okay, and we are going to give the like COT prompt, like chain of prompt. Okay, so what we are going to do, so right, we are going to just give each and every step and the few examples, like few sorts examples, that how we used to do to train our model. Okay, so let's say act as an advanced AI model which thinks step by step in chain of thought manner. Okay, you can say before giving exact answer, first think step by step and then give the final answer, right? So that's what basically we need from our AI model. So first they have to think before giving any response, right? Now what we'll do, we'll give steps, what all steps they need to follow, steps to follow uh, before answer answering the question. So let's say I will give first step is that can be start, let's say second step then can be uh, think. Okay, third we will say we can say we need answer, or we can say output. Okay, and thing can be multiple steps, right? Like multiple things can be happen. Like let's say we want to write an essay, so we can see like we are going to write an essay in English format. We are going to write as an essay in 100 words or 200 words. So these are the thinking thought process behind the scene, okay, that we need to follow. Now let me just make it okay. Now after giving this step, like we'll assign some rule, okay. So let's say uh, always always follow output format in JSON strictly, okay. Second, uh, think about, or we can say return each steps one by one. First, first first return, start then think a step one by one, and finally output, right? Now we can say always return final out answer in the output step, right? So these are the like rules I have set it. Now let's set output format. So let's say we want some desired output. So let's say here we will say a step step can be start, thing, and output, and content here output of the step, right? So this way we are going to the format of our output that we need. Okay, okay. Now I will give some few examples. Okay, examples in the sense. So let's say our start will be this way, or let's say in this part our first step is a start, and content is let's give another what is or we can say write a code. Find the middle of a stringly linked list. Okay, so this is our start that user basically asks. Now second, we will going to think to find our second step will be think. Okay, so I think I'll just add content as user wanted wants to find the middle of singly list. Okay, this is going to be first step, right? Now second step, I'll again think. Okay, so there can be multiple steps of the thinking can happen, right? So there are multiple thought process, like even in general, we will have the multiple thought process, right? Whenever we have assigned some task, so we think before doing anything, right? So we are going to find the middle of single legs, we can use two pointer technique. So this can be a say next step. Okay, now again I'll write we'll think we can initialize two pointers slow fast, pointer moves one times, pointer two at a time, fine. Then again we can say where faster point in the place, the slow point will be at the middle of the list, fine. And last we will going to them basically. Let's say I'm just giving code format here. Okay, great. I'm just giving one example, right, in the Python. So that will be our output. Okay, so like basically if you think see here the multiple steps we are showing how basically AI model has to react whenever user asks. So first they will start, This is the first step. There are multiple steps of thinking, like user wants to find a middle of the linked list. To find a middle of the linked list, we can use the two-point approach. Then we can slice two pointers slow and faster. Like these are the ways, right? That basically we are going to think and then we are going to return the output. Okay. Similar way, we'll give another example. Now let's start. What is the capital of Nepal? Let's consider this. Okay, think user wants to know the capital of. Then we in the capital of Nepal is Kathmandu. Output the capital of Nepal is Kathmandu, right? So this is the second example I've given. First example is this, second is this, right? So we you can see we are using a few short prompting technique here, right? And this is an advanced version of few short prompting, we can say. Basically, we are just train our model to think first before giving the output, and whatever thought process they are going to do, that we need to know first, right? Okay, so as we have completed the prompting of chain of thought process here, okay, now we are going to do some modification here as well, okay, because in order to do the chain of thought process, our AI assistant should have the history, whatever they have responded before, right? In order to get the next response. So first of all, like let's say what write a code of Fibonacci series. Okay, let's say this is the question I'm going to ask and response what you are getting. So we have created. So on top of that, we have to respond. So as here you can see, we are running our in a virtual environment. So let's wait for the output. Okay, so here you can see we have got the response. It has started write a code of Fibonacci series. Then it think user wants to generate a Fibonacci series, right? Then again it think the Fibonacci series sequence of each number in sum, blah blah, and then again think the formula of Fibonacci series is this. To implement this code, this the iterative approach is this and all, and then output they have returned the Fibonacci series and the Python code. So you can see like complete thought of process it is going to so, right? So what happened currently, it is given output of all the thought process, but in real scenario what it happened basically, one by one it is going to respond. So if you have ever used chat GPT model or like Cloud A or OpenAI model, right? So there you can see it is showing some thinking or analyzing something like that. So whenever we are uploading some document, so they are showing their thought process, like they are analyzing, they are thinking, they are searching over it, like something like that. So that are the chain of thought process, okay, while responding back to the user's prompt. Okay, so here you can see these are the steps going to map. Even if we want to one response at a time, what we'll do, we'll add one more, give one response at a time. Do not give all the step in one response, right? So we just want one process at a time. Now let's re-execute this part. We'll see. So here you can see we are just only getting one thought process, okay, like a start write a code for generating the. So this is our first step that is going to follow. But how it will go to the next process, if we again going to execute the same code, it is again giving me the start step. But basically we want now in the second run assistant should able to give the second step, right? Basically the thing process. But every time we can see like same process it is going to given. So in order to do that, we have to basically tell provide the history of our assistant. So in order to provide history, what we'll do, I'll just make one variable history, okay, and going to append whatever the assistant has responded till now, right? So let's copy this part. So this AI has already responded us. I'll just store in the history. Okay. Now we'll pass the history into our assistant role. So for that, what we'll do, we are basically going to create one new role, and role will be assistant, and we're going to pass the not a history, we'll pass the history in JSON term. Okay, basically we have to import this JSON in order to convert this JSON in the response content, right? So we are passing the history whatever we have. So now let's run. So it will now go to the second step. Okay, what is it is showing? Step is not defined. It is giving error. Okay, let's make it as a string here. It is getting like a syntax error due to that step format, right? So here you can think. Now we are getting the second response. Think like what a user wanted to generate a Fibonacci series. So you can understand, right? Like how we are basically providing the history of the assistant, and based on that, we are getting the next response. Okay, it will give the second step. The Fibonacci is a sequence of the sum or two proceeding. So yeah, likewise you can see this is the manually we are copying the history, but in the next video I'll show you how we can automate this part. So whenever AI is running, it is going on a loop with having there a scope of the history as well, right? So I just wanted to show like how basically the stepwise format chain of thought process happens behind the scene, and using this like we can enhance our AI model, think and split our problem statement into a small chunks and give the proper details before giving the answer, right? So it also help us our AI model to be give the exact and effective answer, right? Whenever we ask. So if you can go to this document, like I have shown like how basically it is going to break the complex problem into a small chunks, and using the different logics, it we can increase the accuracy of our AI models, right? By using chain of prompting. It also helps in debugging any other problem, right? So these are the uses. So examples you can see like if solving DSA problem, the one that I have showed you currently, like how basically we used to tout before coming to the coding part. So here we are finding the middle of the linked list, calculation of percentage of some number, right? First we have to convert, then multiply, then we are going to check the result, right? So this is the thought process. So these are the ways you can see the example and you can use. And if we talk about the best practice of the chain of command properties, so ask to AI think through each step before answering. So basically, if we need our AI to think, analyze before giving the answer directly, we can use chain of thought prompting, right? And we can keep the reasoning sequence clear and numbered. So basically, when let's say you are a researcher, so in that case, chain of thought prompting can be very much helpful in your case, right? We can tell the AI for the steps you have to follow, and based on that get the result, right? So AI model will first go each and every steps whatever we are providing, whatever we have trained to our AI model, and based on that we are getting the response, and even we can visibly see what all things it is going to do behind the scene, right, before answering. So this by this usage you can like easily make your prompt effectively work, and you can also create a better AI model for your task, right? So that's all about the chain of thought plotting. In the next video, I'll show you how to automate this process. Okay, instead of manually assigning to the history, you can directly create a loop and assigning to the model, and model will going to again reply one by one after each thought process. Okay, basically how you have seen in any chat GPT model or cloud AI model, and right? So we are going to create in the next session. So that's all for today. Let's see you next video. Bye.